to the For Kids Paradise World. My friends and I get to talk about very interesting topics week after week with our top-notch resource person.
Be it educational and emotional,
social and environmental,
or health, the children's protection segment has got you covered.
Okay, are you ready? Yeah. We're doing opposite words. Okay, so positive, negative, good, bad. This is a feel of what goes on the Get It Right segment. We get to teach you new ways to enrich your vocabulary and to boost your confidence level. It even gets better, because Moi, the birthday queen, will get to celebrate your birthdays.
We think you've had enough. We give you the vibe around the clock on the WhatsApp segment. Fill you in on all the gist and gossip in Ghana and beyond. And we also get interactive with you, our lovely viewers at home, by reading messages sent to us on all the social media platforms.
it's Saturday, Fidel, aka King Del. And once you see me on your screen, you know what time it is. So now, I want you to get your dancing shoes on. We count it up by teaching you some new dance moves and to make you hip and trendy.
For Kids Paradise is at 2 p.m. this and every Saturday.
And this is our world.
Deep and Aruhi. Two hearts, but one destination. Love. But this love has changed their destiny forever.
People live for love. People die for love. What would you do for love?
It's always a mystery. The whole
Catch To Die for Love every Monday to Friday at 6 p.m. only on Joy Prime.
Business Connect with me, Nhyira Addo, and this is the big interview segment. Of course, we've got the hustle and then digital business coming up. You don't want to lose any of those insights and inspiration. My guest in the big conversation segment is Dr. Gifty Quarshie-Ngissah. She is an obstetric. Well, see, that's where it gets difficult. She's an obstetrician and a gynecologist, and she's the medical director of Midway Clinic, which now is a full-blown hospital. In fact, let's talk about that. The transition. So, did you take the clinic from clinic to a hospital status?
Yeah.
And how did you do that scaling up?
Yeah, so we added on more services.
Right.
And then we had to go through the process of the HEFRA, so Health Facilities Regulatory Authority, coming to do inspections, making sure that I upgrade, everything was fine, and then we got certified as a hospital.
Congratulations. How does it feel that, do you feel that you've made Daddy proud in any way? I mean, he handed something over to you, and you've been fruitful with it.
Yeah, I think he's will be very proud.
But it didn't come easy.
No.
What would you say would be the one thing that kept you going, knowing that, we'll get there in the end? That one thing that no matter how difficult it got, kept you focused?
I think it's the passion. It's the passion to see the end, knowing what it can be, and then having a passion to make it, because it's not rosy. It's not a rosy bed at all. But having a plan in place and knowing that, it's generally getting there step by step, and having the passion to drive it to get to the end, and the grace of the Lord.
Wow, wonderful.
The grace of the
I like
Lord.
the sound of that. I mean, passion really is often the fuel that drives everything we do. But it's easy to also, as someone says, between start and finish, there's a place called stuck.
Yep. Yeah.
But at least when you get there, you have to kick into high gear and then keep going. Let's go back to the impact that you as an individual are making, and then also the benefit of having like-minded people. You mentioned earlier on that, you know, for you, the association of other women in executive positions and in business as business owners or high-flying executives, you are in the EW and the Executive Women's Network, and that's helped you. How has that helped shape the way you do the work you do?
So I'd say EWN rocks anyway.
Okay.
So being a part of EWN gave me access to other women who I probably would not have met if I was on my own in my corner. And I gained great mentors. And one of my mentors was lawyer Sheila Minka-Premo. And she's been like my mother in business. You know, Gifty, you can do it. She's always moving for you, always pushing you, driving you. And it makes you feel there are other people. I mean, I couldn't mention everyone's name, but that point where you feel like you are tired and you can't do it, then you have other people there to let you know that, yes, if you keep at it, you'll be able to do it. Yeah. And it's also created opportunities for me as well. I mean, I've had opportunities business-wise that I probably would not have been privy to if I was not part of EWN as well. Yeah. So all in all, I'd say it has greatly impacted my business approach. Even in how in terms I organized my our concepts at the facility, because you see other people, you see other stories of what corporate should look like. And so most of the time, if you're not careful, for a single private entity, you may not necessarily have the structures in place. But when you have other people who are in corporate who seem to have structure going on, it helps to rub on you. So you make sure you have structure also running through well and good. Yeah.
So peer pressure is not a bad thing after all.
It's not a bad thing after all.
That's if the peers are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to learn about, you know, the kind of impact that you have, you know, the program you set up is intriguing. It's beautiful that you help couples understand the journey. And I think that, you know, when you know how far you have to travel, and I find that when you do a long haul flight, for example, you're not as anxious as when you are on a road trip and you know you're going to a destination that you've never been to, but you know you don't know how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
So you keep doing the "are we there yet" thing.
Yeah.
How have you been able to measure your impact that you've made? What are the milestones you set for yourself, and measure to see that, okay, well, I was here, now I'm here, so I'm either on track or behind schedule?
Yeah. So career-wise, I mean, definitely we all have goals of what we set for ourselves and how much we want to achieve. So my husband has been a great support to me. He's an orthopedic surgeon, so he's also in the
field,
clinical field, yes. And usually I will make a plan of what you want to, because you can't be in the same ONG, you have to keep improving yourselves. I mean, you can't just be in one space forever. So you make courses you have to attend, what you need to do. So you make year plans, and by the grace of God, you check them, you know, okay, I'm going on that side of it. When it comes to business, I think when I moved back to Midway, I made a 4-year plan of what I expected things to be and how we're going to move. And I would say that by the grace of God, you know, we've been able to chalk all the things we said we wanted to do. And so we are now restarting for another, 4 years of where we need to go to. In terms of impact, I think the greatest impact or the greatest joy that comes to me is when, people have had challenges getting pregnant and the baby finally comes out. It fulfills you. It makes it all worth it. It makes it absolutely all worth it. Yeah, sometimes there are negatives because you can try or you can and the person still doesn't get pregnant, and it can really put a damper on you as well. I always say that I'm an ONG that puts my heart into the work, So it's like you emotionally get connected. So when it doesn't,
So their aspirations are your aspirations
Yes.
as well. If it doesn't
and
happen,
then it's just it drains you
Oh.
completely. I always have to tell myself, look, you have too many patients to becoming emotionally, burdened. You just feel so low
Yeah.
by it. Yes, but the joy of it is when there's success at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Now the other thing I also like to do is engaging the younger girls, encouraging them. It won't say STEM completely, as so knowing that people have done it. How do you also do it to get there? And adolescent health, reproductive health. Because the field I do, I meet a lot of young girls who are lost. Because sexually, when it comes to sexual health, we are not there yet. We don't talk about those things in this country.
Shouldn't that count in calling ourselves a middle-income country? Because, I mean, this thing you're saying is a very, very big deal. Many years ago, I randomly did a dipstick survey and asked lots of females. I mean, I think I probably asked close to about 30 different females whether they had a pap smear and they were of age, and none of them knew what a pap smear was.
Yep, and I'm sure it will still be the same if we did it now.
Hopefully at least those people found out what it was afterwards. And you know the funny thing? I learned about a pap smear simply by reading a leaflet in a doctor's reception. But the information exists. How do you see us expanding the coverage of information to the point where it has an impact on, life expectancy for people? Because, I mean, if you didn't know you need to do these things, you're exposed without knowing it. And then we pay the cost for it later.
So the bottom line is education, female education. If more females were educated, not just to know how to read and write, but then educated, had literacy, they'll be more interested in their health. It'll be easier to push. I mean, most surveys that have done, you find that most females don't listen to news. They don't listen to any form of print, radio, whatnot. They don't listen to any form of news. So it's usually the men getting the information, and then it depends on them spilling it over to the females. Women become more empowered when they're educated. You have to have a baseline to know that I must be looking out for my health. I must be concerned about what happens to me. And is one of the other things, like in maternal mortality, is the death of women while pregnant or, within 6 weeks of pregnancy. One of the things that causes death is the delay. We call the 3Ds, and one of the delays is the delay in getting to hospital. Why do we have a delay in getting to hospital? It's because we are waiting for a male to say, we need to go, or we're waiting for someone to bring money, to go to hospital and all of that. And it all boils down to being empowered. Because if we educate women, they become an equal partner. They're able to bring something to the table. They're able to also make decisions for themselves. It's not about who's fighting who for power. I think sometimes we lose, it's about making people able to make their own health decisions and say, I need to go and do a pap smear. Because most of the time, like you're saying, the person may have heard about it, but no one has pushed her to go and do a pap smear. So unless maybe the partner is saying, have you done a pap smear? They're not going in for a pap smear. Family planning. There are all these myths about family planning. People, when you get down to it, you realize that it's the understanding. The understanding is, as someone would say, it's just not there. And so we are not utilizing family planning as well as we should, because people do not understand why they should be getting and have all these ideas of myths that could be the reason. And simple things like public health education would help to dispel them. But who are you educating? There must be some level on which you are putting information so that it can seep. But when it's not there at all, when you are putting out the information, it doesn't take food. So creating our messages that are targeting the people we wanted to meet, so that you're not just giving out any message, but you must know who your audience is, so you know how to...
So you speak in a mode that they will understand.
That they will understand.
But they have to be present first.
Yes, that they will understand.
You said how your husband is very helpful. But he's in the... It's easy to discount the fact that he's a doctor. As an orthopedic surgeon, he would have, need to maybe be waking up in the middle of the night, come and do this emergency procedure. All of these things do happen. So maybe there's easier access to a bottle of empathy to understand what you do. How important would you say the partner support, be it from male to female or the female to the male in the home, how much of an impact does that make on their well-being, their ability to work well, their ability to achieve their goals in life? Because you see them come and you seem to believe, or from experience, seen that it helps when the two come together to work towards something.
I cannot overemphasize it enough. My husband, shout out to him, he's a blessing.
But you're a blessing, right? As they say, you too, right?
Yes, you too. Yeah, it's very important. You know, in the obstetric part of my work, sometimes I go back to the hospital at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You know, there's a labor case, a problem. They'll call you. You have to get up. You go back to work. You come back. You know, there must be some understanding for it to work. Because you have kids, you know, you have to make your home run, and then you've got a business to work out as well. If there's no understanding, it will just overburden you. Then it begins to feel like you are doing too much, and it's like we are challenging each other in the house. If there's no understanding and the coherence is not there, it becomes a problem. Because the person must understand what you do, have value for what you do, so that they are willing to help. Sometimes I have to go at 12 a.m. You know, he says, okay, he'll drive me, and then he'll go and wait for me, and he brings me back to the house. So it's very important to have, partner support in anything that you do. Even when it comes to cooking, you know, who's going to take the kids here? Who's going to do this? How much time are you spending with the kids? We are all very busy people. And so we need to plan and actively make sure we are spending time, one, for ourselves, because for a marriage, you need to work on your marriage. You need to make time to have me time for you as a couple, and before you talk about your kids. And so every year, it's one thing we do, we take a weekend away, we plan, and make sure that this year, so we can all plan our schedules around when we can spend time for ourselves, when are we spending, doing something extra with the kids. And I think it has really helped us, because if we didn't actively do that, we will just be two different people living in the house. We probably won't see each other much. Yeah.
And next thing you know, you're growing apart. Because you just happen to share the same roof.
Yes. You just happen to share the same roof.
Now that's super insightful.
Yeah.
And in the cases where you've seen that partner support in your fertility classes and things, what has been the outcomes?
It's been brilliant. So you realize that when the man is very supportive, you have some men, they're there, you can push, you can do it. It makes it lightens the mood, makes the delivery process very beautiful. I've had different stories. Some husbands, when the babies are coming out, they will suddenly just lie on the floor, like different weird stories. Say, Jesus, like, all kinds. But it makes it fun and nice. Yeah, it's just having, and I also think that it helps men to appreciate the value of the wife and what she's going through to making, them have a child together. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I could talk to you all day. There's lots I could learn from your work and your life. Unfortunately, this is all time would allow us. I'm super grateful. Dr. Gifty Quarshie-Ngissah, Medical Director at Midway Hospital. And congratulations on moving from clinic to hospital, eh?
Thank you.
It's been fun talking to you.
It's been fun as well, yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We'll bring you more great conversations in our big conversation segment on Business Connect. For now, we're taking a short break, and when we come back, we'll jump into the hustle, and then we'll make way for digital business. This is Business Connect. I am Nhyira Addo, and I'll be back with more.
Four nations playing football that sums up the massive, unbelievable skill of the best in Europe. 51 games of football that will get the fans to their frenzied best and frustrated worst. 1 month of football played with legacies that will write history once and for all. One big trophy is the reason why all that football will be played from Friday, June 11 to Sunday, July 11 for Euro 2020. The Multimedia Group is the home for all that football to be served to you in live HD, radio commentary, social media engagements, and live updates online. Without a doubt, we are your home for the Euros this season. Euro 2020 will be a rewarding experience. The Multimedia Group is your home for Euro 2020. And all games are live in HD on the HD Plus decoder. HD Plus is the HD experience partner for multimedia this Euros on Adum TV channel 103, Joy Prime channel 102, and Joy News channel 101.
The all-new Urban Morning Show.
Spiced with crisp current affairs to make it even more informative. We start your day with an in-depth analysis of the news headlines.
And help you digest it with great magazine and lifestyle content.
It's Prime Morning. Very educative.
Very entertaining, fun, and exciting.
And it's interactive too. I am Daniel Dazi.
My name is Nhyira Addo.
And my name is Jay Foley.
Catch all exciting reloaded Prime Morning Mondays through to Fridays at 6 a.m. only on Joy Prime.
The CEO of Muna Tozafi. I'm a pharmacist by profession. I graduated from KNUST in 2007, and I'm currently a practicing pharmacist with special focus in sales and marketing in the pharma industry.
So what is a practicing pharmacist doing selling Tozafi?
So it all started 2 years ago. That was in 2019. After close of work one night, I was in deep thoughts, and interestingly, I stumbled upon the food businesses in Ghana. So I decided to do a little research online to see what their focus was on. And I realized that most of the focus was on the rice dishes, and most of them were packaged very nicely. But when you research into Tozafi, which is a delicacy by the Northerners, I'm a Northerner, and having those roots, I thought it intriguing to at least venture into that kind of business.
Tozafi, the thick porridge of corn flour, eaten by tearing off a chunk and dipping it into a soup, usually of a green leaf, locally called ayoyo, is a staple food of the people in the northern part of the country.
Looking at the way people love Tozafi, especially those in Accra, realize that a lot of them prefer to go to their favorite food joints, or better still, to order for it and sit at the comfort of their homes and eat it. Having in mind that Tozafi is something that is not so easy to prepare at home. So looking at all those in totality, we decided to give it a try. And our first major break came in 2019, that's 2019,
when pharmacists were having their annual general meeting in Accra with over 2,000 pharmacists present. So we were able to register as a vendor, and then we served Tuozafi hot on the premises. And the feedback we got afterwards was very mind-blowing.
That was when Miriam decided to give a bit more attention to the business, targeting corporate institutions. She developed the Muna Pack.
With this Muna Pack concept, there's so much excitement on the market. Anyone who has seen it is so fascinated by the packaging. The pack alone is inviting. Plus, we have a table mat, wet wipe, spoons, and then the various things that go with it.
The packs are eco-friendly. Being a pharmacist, Miriam knows too well packaging hot food in polythene bags, as is often the case, is unhealthy. The Muna packs are doing very well thanks to social media.
The main challenge has to do with the cost of delivery. So what we currently do is that we run a 50% discount. So we pay 50% of your delivery cost to the delivery company, because we've partnered with a delivery company, so that you only have to pay 50% of the other delivery cost. It's working a bit, but we are looking to ensure that in future we can also have our fleet of riders so that we can reduce the delivery costs to the customers.
As orders continue to increase, Miriam has got great plans for Muna Tuozafi.
We want to expand, and as we expand, we also want to introduce the other sources of soups that you can use to accompany the teasets. We have the bra soup, we have the dry okra soup, we have the miankuka soup. So we want to gradually introduce all these to the people of Accra, so that they can also get accustomed to new varieties which are equally nutritious. And not just that, the long-term business is to also expand our branches outside Accra, and in future, if possible, because we're already thinking of ways to package it to those outside the country as well.
Taking Tuozafi international, well, that sounds exciting.
Let's talk about cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is cryptocurrency, and cryptocurrency isn't physical money. It exists only online. But remember, today most money exists online. Think about those paycheck deposits into your account, or how you can tap your debit card at a store. It's a digital currency that exists in zeros and ones in some computer somewhere. But that money is government issued, and as such, we all agree to respect it as being worth something. You, me, corporations, banks, we all adhere to the idea that $10 is $10. That's where cryptocurrency is different. It isn't issued by a government or a bank. Bitcoin was invented in 2008 by an anonymous inventor who calls themselves Satoshi Nakamoto. Nakamoto developed what's called a decentralized system. Now, a traditional bank is a centralized system. All payments enter and leave through one central hub. Whether a debit card on your account, or a check, or a request from a teller, if you make a deposit or a withdrawal at a bank, it's all recorded on the bank's ledger. Bitcoin uses a kind of ledger too, a decentralized virtual one. It's a string of letters and numbers that exists in the online world. In order for people to have trust in it, Bitcoin still needs to have checks and balances to be as secure as a national currency or money in the bank, and that's where Bitcoin's ledger comes in, called the blockchain. A blockchain is a time-stamped virtual ledger that holds a growing list of transactions. Each copy updates at the exact same time, keeping the system accurate, and the copies are updated through something called Bitcoin mining. Here's how. Some of the people holding the ledger are miners. They're not mining for gold or precious metals. Instead, their computers are put to work mining blocks of data. These blocks help them act as auditors for the blockchain. These miners are trying to check the letter number combination of that particular Bitcoin transaction. So they do this by solving a math puzzle unique to that transaction. Once the puzzle is solved and the miner finds the right number, it proves that this is the only time that Bitcoin has been sent. When all the people holding the ledger confirm they're on the same page, they record that transaction. How do miners get paid? You guessed it, Bitcoin. So the miners have an incentive to keep doing the auditing work and keep the currency going, meaning there's no need for a bank or government body to manage all that money. Even though all those Bitcoin transactions are public, we have no idea who the people behind them are. Like Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin's inventor, his or her or their identity is still a total mystery.
Thank you for watching Business Connect with me, Nhyira Addo. Let's stay connected. Tweet at me at GHRainmaker. And I look forward to having you again for some more inspiration and insight in our subsequent episodes. Until the next time, be safe. Shalom.
Joy Learning has been the best channel in terms of educating our peoples. We all saw the role they played during the lockdown, the Corona era, where Ghana, everything was on hold. Joy Learning engaged our wards at home. Instead of them gallivanting and doing unnecessary stuff, Joy Learning was giving them the best of education from the pre-tertiary level, that is from basic to the senior high. And I recommend Joy Learning to every parent and then our children. Please, let's introduce Joy Learning to our wards so that they can also patronize what they do on the channel. And at the end of the day, I promise you they are going to come out with flying colors. As an officer with the National Teaching Council, I recommend Joy Learning because they are simply the best.
I was good in science but had a problem in biology. Through Joy Learning, it's helped me gain the knowledge and understanding about biology. Joy Learning, keep learning.
Joy Learning has helped me a lot as far as academic work is concerned. During the COVID-19 pandemic, learning became very tedious for me until a friend recommended Joy Learning channel to me. And wow, it has really helped me to excel academically.
Joy Learning has impacted positively in my education, especially during the COVID lockdown. It has helped me to learn from the comfort of my home. I would like to say a very big thank you to Joy Learning. I would like to encourage all students to keep watching Joy Learning. Joy Learning, keep learning.
Having interacted with a good number of my students who just came back from the break, well, that was the COVID break, I have had a very good impression of the Joy Learning channel, most especially with my language students. Most of them, in their account or testimony of the experiences with Joy Learning channel, have been really impacted by the lessons that they took, especially the revision lessons, because of the fact that they were not able to attend classes organized by private institutions or setups, but they have been able to cover a lot of topics whilst they followed Joy Learning TV whilst at home. I recommend Joy Learning TV to all other students as well.
It's a channel that I would recommend for all parents in Ghana. Last year, Ghana was hit by COVID-19. It wasn't Ghana alone, but the whole world. The Joy Learning channel came in to help parents when children were at home. I would recommend all parents to tune in to the Joy Learning channel so that their children will